We welcome you to Manchester Meadows, South Carolina, for South Atlantic Conference Tournament here from Rock Hill as the Anderson Trojans and Carson-Newman Eagles get set to kick off our semifinals on the women's side of the 2015 South Atlantic Conference Tournament. The fifth-seeded Anderson Trojans coming in 14-3-1, and the top-seeded Carson-Newman Eagles coming in at 16-2. Ryan Brown captaining your great crew. Trey and TJ Harrell on board as well. My name is Jake Levy. Glad you could join us from wherever you may be watching as we get set to figure out one half of the finals on Sunday for the women's bracket in the tournament. The men's final is all set. They played the early two. Now we've got the women's side of things to figure out here on the SAC Digital Network. As we give you a look at the bracket, how both teams got here. Carson-Newman beating Lincoln Memorial at home despite playing a player down for much of the second half, and Anderson able to come back with 2 goals in the 80th minute and later, tying it up and then winning in PKs to advance over Lenore-Rhine here to Rock Hill. So the number 1 and 5 seeds, Anderson the only upset in the first round. We already had an upset here today. The 4-seeded Queens Royals beat the men's Carson-Newman top seed. So now Richard Moody and his Carson-Newman Eagles on the women's side are going to look to defend their top overall seed. The Carson-Newman women also atop the the Southeast region. As we give you a look at the weather here today from Rock Hill, South Carolina, it was rainy early, but things have really settled down nicely. 68 degrees, partly cloudy with some sun just starting to peek through. There's a tail end of that 4 o'clock hour as it begins to give way tonight. The lights shining brightly as the women take over for the night portion of our South Atlantic Conference soccer tournament. So Anderson and Carson-Newman, a rematch from a game back in the regular season played in Spartanburg, South Carolina, where Anderson got a 2-1 victory. Camilla Olson was the goal scorer for Carson-Newman, but Kenzie Van Heusen and Adoya Agire putting the goals in for Anderson. It was Agire who had 2 goals after the 80th minute on Tuesday to get the tie and force penalty kicks, or kicks from the mark, however you choose to refer to it, in which Anderson was able to edge out LR 4-2. Anderson Trojans have been good on the offensive side of things this year. They've outscored their opponents 54-16 this season, including 34-10 in the second half. So Anderson continuing that trend with the strong second halves this season on Tuesday. Of course, for the Carson-Newman Lady Eagles under Richard Moody, they swept the Player of the Year in Julianne Harity and the Freshman of the Year in Varen Ness. Also had 5 all-conference selections, including those 2. So they've been really good all year long. 10-1 in conference play. The lone loss coming to Anderson. So they'll look to avenge that and punch their ticket to the final on Sunday. Getting a set here from Carlisle Field at Manchester Meadows in Rock Hill, South Carolina on the SAC Digital Network. Anderson wearing the black uniforms with the gold trim and gold letters and numerals. Carson-Newman in their home white uniforms with the gray fade and the outlined orange around the white numerals. As both teams introduced to the fans here, starting to get pretty packed here for the nightcaps from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Wherever you may be watching, we're so glad you could join us here this evening. And at this point, it's time to pause for the national anthem. Due to copyright issues, we will go silent for the next couple of minutes, but invite you to watch in during the national anthem here on the SAC Digital Network. And so we are set for soccer here from Manchester Meadows. We get a look at the officials for this evening's match, introducing themselves to all of the players that you see in the middle with the ball. Clifton Clement, the head referee. Sarah Curry and James Boswell will be on the sides. The fourth official, the one without a flag in his hands, the taller gentleman with his back to the screen at the moment. He'll be over by the scorer's table, ensuring substitutions are done properly and everything runs smoothly on that end. So, with that, we are set for soccer action as the teams exchange their final pleasantries. And now one final message from each head coach. Kieran Chikar and Richard Moody getting their team set. Richard Moody, who is the head coach of both the men's and women's Carson-Newman soccer teams, had a heartbreaker to start the day, and now looking to soothe things with the women's side. There you see Anderson set to take the field, led by Abby Helm, their freshman goalkeeper out of Dayton, Ohio. Helm wearing the pink keeper's kit for Anderson. Meanwhile, on the other side is Jessica Fracher, who's had a fine freshman season. She captained that back line on Tuesday after losing a player due to a red card, Megan Peterson, the second team all-conference defender. Peterson was the final defender on a play and impeded the progress, so a straight red issued. Carson-Newman played down a player for much of the second half, but still pulled out the victory. They were able to get the 1-0 victory over LMU. Maren Ness, the freshman of the year in the South Atlantic Conference on the women's side, scored the goal, and we are underway. Rock Hill, South Carolina. Anderson, the 5 seed, and Carson-Newman, the top seed. Anderson will start on possession first. Kristen Herbert sets it up for Pavetta. Rolled near side as Carson-Newman looks to build an attacking chance. Haida Ragney lays it up for Nora Logan. Step by Nikki McWilliams as she crossed into the box. She's cut off, and Pavetta will help clear it to the far side. Eagles still with possession, though, just underway here in the women's semifinals from Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's Nora Logan again. Some good triangle passing by the Eagles. Now a nice ball from Logan into the corner, setting up Alex Brandon. Brandon tried to set it back for Logan. Well read by the Anderson defense. Allie Palacios came over. And now Herbert, the sophomore out of Arlington, Virginia, will take the throw in. But it's controlled by Ragney, and Carson-Newman back on possession. There was the first touch for Player of the Year, Julianne Harity. Number 23 in gray and white as she flipped the field. Good cross, now a strong take in, but waiting for it is Abby Helm as the cross is secured. Eagles building a bulk of the possessing early on. Step down to Ragney. She's got it again. And now it's Logan. Nora Logan given plenty of space to operate. Will lay it up for Brandon. Alex Brandon, eyes up, rolls it to midfield. Harity had her shot blocked As she let it rip from outside, and it deflects out for a deep throw in for Carson-Newman. Brandon, the freshman out of Knoxville, Tennessee, receives the throw as it goes under her boot. And Poveda can try to move upfield. Pass too far out of the reach for Megan Foster, though, and Carson-Newman right back on it. Good couple of plays defensively by Herbert. And she'll, in fact, win possession there, 1-on-2 for the Trojan defender, and the sophomore pries it free. Launching pass blocked away. And that touch mishandled. Otherwise it could have been danger. With Megan Foster right around midfield. Poveda's got it again. And Poveda tripped up as the ball wrestled from her.
Drive it.
Logan. And they'll just settle along the back line. Ellen Seed, the sophomore out of England, in that center back role. A lot of eyes will be on those center backs for Carson-Newman today. Without Megan Peterson, second team all-conference center back. Pass by Logan splits her options, and the Trojans easily recover possession. Anderson trying to get on the attack for the first time as Kahn moved it forward, but only as far as the holding midfield for Carson-Newman. Creative passing there to set up an opportunity for Brandon. It was deflected on its way in front of her, so Carson-Newman will get the throw from just about 20 out. It's Logan again. She gets it back. Good ball just outside the box, wrapped around by McWilliams. And then her insert blocked away. Lexi Longmore forced it out, concedes the throw. Just over 5 minutes gone by here in the first half. Carson-Newman and Anderson, 5 versus 1 seeds. The semifinals here from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Ajire trying to track that down. Good step up from the back line. Pressure continues to be applied by Carson-Newman. Holly Talbot-Smith. Fine footwork there from Varon Ness, the freshman of the year. Lays it to the corner. And it'll just deflect out of play. Nice idea there from Ness. Using her speed to create an opportunity. He's trying to set up McWilliams towards the center, but ran out of real estate. Good crowd on hand here from Rock Hill as they watch the top seed Carson-Newman take on the Anderson Trojans in their home state. Brandon. Tried to step to it again. Poveda slipped. Trying for McWilliams again. A good piece by Ragney to slow it down. Logan, the referee watching as Abby Mills took a spill, the Monroe, North Carolina native. Not too far from her hometown here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. As Mills missed that one, and then they will get the foul on Emily Coan, the senior out of Belmont, Michigan. Avery Williams, freshman out of Powell, Tennessee, restarts play. Harity from outside lets it fly. And Harity pulls it wide. Conference Player of the Year taking the long range shot. Stepping up was Frazier. First time she's touched it today. But it's wrestled back away by Foster. Foster feeds it through for Agire, but that's blocked and then sent wide. Agire's first team all-conference selection. One of the front runners for Player of the Year, which went to Harity. As Agire holds it in the corner. They went by conference goals, and Harity had 11 in SAC matches, while Agire had 8 during conference play. But she had 22 goals overall, 51 points did Agire. She also took 83 shots this year, 61 of which were on target. It's an impressive .735 shot on goal percentage. And Anderson will win a corner kick here. So after a bulk of the action down the other end for the first 5 minutes, now Anderson trying to get their legs under them. As Poveda, wearing the captain's band, heads to the far corner. Headed out easily by Logan. And now a chance to counter for Carson-Newman. It's a one-on-one if they hurry. Turning upfield with numbers coming behind. It's Talbot Smith. She lays it wide, hoping for Varen Ness. One heavy touch, but Ness has possession. The Trojan defense scrambling to get back in front. Logan from long range chips it towards the 18, headed out. And that one heavy touch from Ness, probably the reason that there's not at least a shot to make it 1-0. But she was on behind, and a well-timed run could have had a 2-on-1. Also give credit to the Anderson defense for scrambling back. It was Adoya Agire who came all the way back and at least got in her face. As you watch, there's too far out in front of her. And then by the time she tracked it down wide, it was rather easily defended. Abby Helm restarts. Trying to feather that through, but it's blocked off well. Nora Logan. One touch by Brandon sets it wide for McWilliams. Nikki McWilliams holds it top of the box. The heel kick tried by Harity. That was walled off. Now Anderson trying to turn the other way as Agire hits the turf. As this now controlled by Anderson. It'll be a foot race. Frazier coming off her line will scoop it up. And the Carson-Newman keeper restoring order. She'll roll it out to restart. Referee plays the advantage as it comes to McWilliams. Sidestepping Poveda. But the help defense comes and pulls it off the foot of McWilliams, who's all by herself on that level. Played wide by Avery Williams. Carson-Newman again. And this time they'll just dump it in and nobody there to chase. So a simple end for Abby Helm. Good step from the back row. Williams started it forward. Now Harity for McWilliams. Joanne Harity. McWilliams for Logan, who goes to a slide to slow it, but not enough to prevent it from kicking out for a throw-in. And we'll have our first sub with a crisp one-touch passing, and then just a bit too strong out in front of Agire. As Anderson makes a sub. Elena Gay, the junior out of Aiken, South Carolina. Over Logan. And they'll go all the way back as Helen Seed just picks out Frazier. That pass off the mark. And Poveda stepped up to knock it out of play. If she could have controlled it there were numbers for Anderson in the attacking third. Seed with a strong boot. Through midfield. Harity the only one at the top of the formation on that side for Carson-Newman, and the numbers favor Anderson as they pull it back. And it's their turn to build from the back row. Seed was there, but Poveda turns it. And now Elena Gay fresh into the match. Poveda back on it. Tried to squeak it through, but a bit heavy, and Frazier there. Haven't heard much from the center referee yet. There's been some physical plays thus far. Harity heads that on, hoping for McWilliams. Gay pulls it down. Now Herbert will join the rush. Agire taken off by Ragni. Seed. Harity again through Ragni. Now Nora Logan. Logan, good pass. Alex Brandon trying to bend her run, but Anderson will just let it go across as Tara Dolan, the redshirt sophomore out of Greenville, South Carolina, there to have eyes on it as it rolls across the back line, and a free kick coming for Anderson as Abby Helm restarts. Good a time as any to tell you about her 11 saves in that 2-1 victory. As this headed back, Poveda trying to make a run, but Frazier just in time. Frazier, the freshman out of Hebron, Kentucky. Gay heads it forward for Agire. There's Richard Moody, South Atlantic Conference Coach of the Year, both the men's and women's side. Also has the top seeds in both tournaments. The women, the outright champions of the South Atlantic Conference. The men getting the split with Wingate. But both the top seeds, as you look on the other side for the Anderson Trojans and Kieran Trakar. In his second season at the helm of the Anderson Trojans. Gay tried to set up, go on. The senior run off the ball. Elena Gay trying to turn upfield. She hits midfield. Being watched there by Ragney. Ajure down the wing. She continues to try to create opportunities for this fifth-seeded Trojan team. Good step from the back row by Dolan. Ajure has it behind the line. Adoya Ajure steps inside. Ajure slid off by Frazier. Strong play from the freshman. Ajure prone to finish those. But Frazier made the right read just at the right time coming off her line. Ragney. Nick Williams muscled off. Strong center back play. Good move. But just out of the reach as you watch Ajure again. Just enough height on that bounce to get over seed. And then a nice step in, and as soon as Ajure crossed past Avery Williams, Frazier right out. Nora Logan wants to restart, waiting on her teammate to finish tying her shoe. We played just over 21 minutes here in this first half. Brandon gets the boot situation rectified. We're back in. And finally they're going to get the whistle for the possession over to Anderson. Gay sets it back for Lexi Longmore. Riggs forward. Now a ball into the corner. Foster trying to give it a run, but she'll run out of room. With good defense, keeping her away from contact. And a goal kick coming. Rounding out our busy day here from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Up next on the SAC Digital Network, it's the Queens Royals and Wingate Bulldogs. And our final semifinal of today, the men's final bracket, already filled. The Queens Royals on the men's variety and the Wingate men will be playing each other in the finals. That matchup is the semifinals on the women's side. And what a run Queens has been on as of late. 8-0-1 in their last 9. Here's a chance for Carson-Newman. Poveda makes a sliding tackle to break up the flow. Harity still the first to step to it. Ragney had Poveda blocked it off, but Brandon got it back. Harity came together with Foster, and Anderson comes away with the ball. Good step from Helen Seed, but stays with Anderson. There goes Elena Gay. Turn towards Ajire, and she's banged down. A foul called on Carson-Newman. They're going to get Nora Logan the junior out of nearby Charlotte, North Carolina, for impeding the progress of Agire. And now a good spot here for a free kick as we watch the foul again. Just a bit late. Agire lined up on the ball. Emily Kawan is there as well. The line right on the 18. Agire chips it, short hop, Frazier there. Not a bad idea to try to curl that one towards the left post. McWilliams sets up Ragney. There's Brandon again. Trying to set up Talbot Smith in the wing, but Anderson there first. Now Sophie Riggs, just a long clear. Welcome you here on the SAC Digital Network, wherever you may be watching. 5th seeded Anderson Trojans and number 1 seed Carson-Newman Eagles here from Manchester Meadows and Rock Hill, South Carolina. Ryan Brown, your outstanding producer today. Trey Harrell, TJ Harrell on the crew as well. Brandon. Not much on it for Logan, but she's still able to get the deflection out off Pavetta. Just one shot credited so far. For each side. Anderson with a shot on goal there that Agire just had. Carson-Newman had one from Julianne Harity that was ripped wide earlier.
Make a run! Let's work, Eagles!
Elena Gay. Clipped forward. Dangerous pass back out from Frazier, but it finds its mark. And now Varen Ness. Gets a deflection right over to the Anderson bench. That was up around the arm area of an Eagle, but the referee says it was incidental contact play on. Pavetta rescues it anyway. That long drive will clear everybody and harmlessly roll in on Frazier. Brandon heads it down. McWilliams trying to make a run. That one turned upfield from Avery Williams.
Both ways, ref!
McWilliams. Little extra speed burst to the near side. Now she'll curl one towards the top of the box. Popped straight up. Harity.
Behind!
Nora Logan chips it over the top. Brandon trying to make a run. Brandon sticks with it.
Get up and help her!
Reverses field, but a good sliding play in the end. One-on-one with Tara Dolan and Alex Brandon. Carson-Newman will make a change, and Sarah Benton, the freshman from Grand Junction, Colorado, comes on. Nora Logan to the 18. Just into the game is Benton. Now she'll wrap it towards the net, but it's wide. Out of play for a goal kick. Benton from Grand Junction, Colorado. The home of legendary sportscaster Vern Lundquist. Gay tried to chip it forward. That was blocked down by Koan. Nora Logan settles for the Eagles. Nearly a half hour gone by. You're watching South Atlantic Conference Semifinals action here on the SAC Digital Network. Strong take from Ragney. The winner here in our first semifinal will take on the winner of Queens Wingate coming up next. Ajire trying to fight through all muscle of Helen Seed, but the Englishman from the sophomore was the stronger of the two. There's an Anderson player really slow to get up right in the middle of your screen. Referee will stop the clock for her, and they're going to wave on the athletic training staff. Looks like Elena Gay is the shaken up Trojan. See if we can find what happened here. And just the finish of the tackle right on the instep. And she's going to need some help off, at least putting some weight on that leg, but she'll get a round of applause as she exits. Hopefully she'll be able to return. It just hurts and looks worse than it is. That area right above the ankle just has no protection. Got the shin guard on the front, but the side, and then when she was rolled into, here you go, SAC it again. Oh yeah, look at the way that ankle bent as she was landed on. Great look at that from our crew, and certainly hope she's okay.
Go Eagles! Come on, girls. Let's go, Gary!
So with 14:29 left to go in the first half,
Go, go, go!
they restart. Here's a play in over the top. Frazier waiting. Ragney flips field. Alyssa Lane trying to force it forward. That was furthered along by Foster, and now watch out here. Ajiri able to take it away. Frazier got a hand on it. Ajiri, realizing Frazier's still off her line, sidesteps her again. Ajiri taking on all comers, has no help, and the Eagle defense able to reassemble. Ajiri beat Frazier except for one finger. That was enough to slow it, and then the defense came to the rescue.
Let's play, Carson-Newman! Compete, Eagles!
Harity wrapping around. Tried to pry it free. Ajiri tripped up, and that'll draw the foul. Ajiri able to beat Seed, and then Frazier just with the fingertips. After that good late move by Ajiri to reverse direction to the left. And then the defense came and helped finish her off. Faith Johannes right at Frazier. And with pressure on, she secures that there is no rebound. McWilliams on the second effort, chips it ahead for Harity. McWilliams again. This time she's probing the right side. Seed starts forward. Now Logan.
Come on, Eagles, win this!
11:30 left in the first half. Scoreless thus far. One shot on either side. Anderson put one on target. Carson-Newman's let one rip wide. Ajiri steps it back for Poveda. Longmore, good ball ahead. Palacios sets it back for Poveda after rambling through midfield trying to find a way to work it ahead to Ajiri. She was forced backwards on all accounts. And now Poveda again. Heel flip attempt from Foster, read out by Carson-Newman. Now a chance perhaps to counter back upfield. McWilliams. With Harity. Beaten to the ball by Poveda. They will give it to Carson-Newman after a delayed decision from the side judge and center ref. Getting word elsewhere around the southeast region that the 3 and 4 teams, North Georgia and Columbus State, have both won in the Peach Belt Conference tournament. So they'll be headed on to the finals. Meanwhile, Wingate and Carson-Newman are the top 2 teams in the southeast. But with one of those teams now guaranteed to win the Peach Belt, you'd imagine it would be hard for the SAC to still find 2 teams hosting when it's all said and done.
Go!
They try the give and go, and that runs out. Anderson looking to make a sub here with 9 minutes left in the first half. So that adds some importance for Carson-Newman and the number 2 seed in the region, Wingate, number 2 seed in this tournament as well. Another throw-in coming from Logan. Harity. It's back for Logan. She'll launch it towards the box. Settle in there, and then just a long clear. This is a good run coming the other way. Palacios in behind on a beautiful run. She chips it over the keeper, and it'll land wide. What a turn of events that almost was. A beautiful ball from the 6 line. Reaching midfield onside. Palacios behind the entire defense, and she rushed it a bit more than I think she had to. Watch her in here. She's got all kinds of time, and she just tried to one-time it and chip the keeper and just launched it wide. But a good opportunity there on the counter for Anderson. Does not amount to anything overly dangerous. Tara Dolan, the redshirt sophomore who nearly sparked that reversal for Longmore. Again, it was Palacios trying to track it down. Seven minutes left in the half, and Anderson will get the throw. Trying to turn. There's a line drive, easily handled by Avery Williams. Good read by Logan. But Paveda gets possession back for Anderson. Johannes is pride free, but it finds the waiting feet of Ajiri. Good help from McWilliams coming around behind and almost able to save it. Herbert eyeing a spot to insert this throw. Longmore sets it wide for Riggs. Anderson continuing to apply the pressure here. But a little bit too much pressure as Carson-Newman will get the free kick. Harity. That was a well-placed ball just under her step. Abby Helm will come out. Anderson, the 5th seed in the tournament, ended the regular season winning 4 of their last 5. The lone loss coming at Queens, who, as I told you earlier, has been red hot as of late. But they're coming off the draw against Lenore Ryan in the 4-5 matchup in Hickory, North Carolina. The 2 goals in the final 10 minutes of regulation, forcing overtime and then winning in penalty kicks to take on the Eagles. McWilliams, good play, but then nobody making the run with her. You can see the frustration that she exudes after a nice control weaving through the back line. Just had nowhere to go with it once she ran out of room. Kubiak settles it. Herbert for Kubiak again. Herbert going to make the overlapping run. She's bumped as it's carried to the corner. And they'll just let that roll across for a goal kick, and subs can be made. Lissa Engel comes in, sophomore from Fairborn, Ohio. She replaces Allie Palacios, who had that nice run in behind the defense, the most threatening chance that Anderson has had thus far. Ajiri can make a chance all by herself. Steps inside, good move past Logan. Ajiri blocked off. Avery Williams there to cancel out the first team all-conference forward. Now Benton. Riggs. Benton there again. Central midfield role. Cleaning up on both sides. It'll be Kubiak trying again. That one off the feet of Harity. She found herself in a pretty good spot. Poveda. Can either of these teams find a late goal here in the first half to take some momentum into the locker room? Strong passing from the back line from Carson-Newman. They flip the field quick. Now here's McWilliams. Able to work it through Herbert. Pass slips through the legs of Harity. And again, it was McWilliams with a nice play, trying to set up the SAC Player of the Year. Logan restarts on the throw-in. And it'll stay with Carson-Newman as McWilliams wisely lets that go, and Logan marches up further forward to throw it back in. Harity bumped from behind. Logan for McWilliams, and she laughs as she mishits that one. Tara Dolan flipping field as we hit the final minute of this first half. Avery Williams, who's done a nice job in that defensive role, and a couple of times she's been forced to stop Adora Ajiri, which is not an easy task one-on-one. .30 seconds left in the first half. Ragney tried to go forward. So we hit the final 15 seconds. And here in this SAC Soccer Friday, make it 7 straight periods, including the overtimes of scoreless action. As we hit intermission, no score between the 5th-seeded Anderson Trojans and the top-seeded Carson-Newman Eagles. A couple of chances early, things really leveled out for those final 10-15 minutes or so, and both teams will go back to their huddles and try to draw up a way to beat the other. There were some chances on both sides, but the keepers were strong, smart off the lines. Jessica Frater making a couple of really smart decisions coming out. Adora Ajiri nearly doing it all herself, but we are scoreless through 45 here on the SAC Digital Network. We welcome you back to Manchester Meadows here on the SAC Digital Network. Two teams that have been offensive powerhouses in the South Atlantic Conference women's soccer ranks this year, trying to find some offense as the 5th-seeded Anderson Trojans and top-seeded Carson-Newman Eagles are scoreless through 45 minutes of play here from Carlisle Field. Rock Hill, South Carolina. So glad you could join us from wherever you may be watching. Ryan Brown, your producer, Trey and TJ Harrell, your production crew. I'm Jake Levy. The first of two women's semifinals coming your way. The men's semifinals taking place earlier today. Both of those being decided in penalty kicks. Carson-Newman will start on the ball, going right to left, wearing the white to gray gradient jerseys. And we'll see what type of adjustments were made at halftime. Alex Brandon for Varen Ness, the freshman of the year. Lobbed well, back to Brandon. But Ness, this time the touch not strong enough and intercepted. Anderson looking to work back the other way. Megan Foster, the freshman from Dayton, Ohio, who had a couple of nice runs in the first half. Nearly intercepted by Herbert. She will eventually get possession, but not quite in stride the way she was hoping. Here's a chance now, driven in with the left foot by Cohen. Brandon waiting for numbers to press forward. Now McWilliams for Harity. Stepped off her foot. Ragney tried to reinsert, but Anderson in good positioning. Pavetta making a run down the far flank. Some of the stats here as we begin the second half. Anderson 2 shots, Carson-Newman 1. Anderson 1 shot on goal, Carson-Newman 0. 3 fouls called on the Eagles, 2 on the Trojans. And there have been no bookings thus far. Flag up there as we'll go over to Carson-Newman on the throw-in right in front of the Anderson bench. Both teams attacking towards their benches in this second half. Varen Ness can't get there before Emily Cohen can. Ajure trying to turn with possession, but was blocked off. And the Carson-Newman back line strong. Here's Sophie Riggs as she just starts it back the other way. Continuing to shift that Carson-Newman defense, seeing if the Trojans can find a way to get some good ground and get a nice run in behind. Ness leaves it to the middle, and Ness practically begging for a foul call and finally getting it from the center referee. As I told you, just 5 fouls combined up until this point. Saw the right arm get extended, and Lexi Longmore whistled for the foul, so with nearly 5 minutes gone by in this second half, here's the insert. As Avery Williams, who stepped up from the back row, pretty good depth into the attacking zone. Misread off the bounce by Johannes, and that allowed Harity to have a chance. McWilliams now drifting to the wing. She'll send a cross in, and that headed out in front of Brandon, so a corner kick coming for Carson-Newman. Baron Ness, who scored the game-winning goal Tuesday. That 1-0 victory over LMU, their in-state rival. Good couple of headers from the Anderson defense after a quality insert from Ness. Here she comes again. Top of the box for Seed. The defender joining the rush. The perfect pass all the way back across off Benton's leg. I don't think she expected that to drop right on a dime the way it did.
Get in the box.
Header up. And the side judge says that did stay in play along the back line, so it'll go as a throw-in.
Get in the box.
Carson-Newman starting to build a little bit of pressure here as Anderson able to fight it off thus far. Referee going to play the advantage. Cross into the box, footed away. Ness from just outside the 18. Stutter stepping a crossover, working on Riggs. Ness fought off, and Riggs does well, standing her ground against the South Atlantic Conference Freshman of the Year. Lane skies it. Harity settles. Back for Lane, who tried to one-time it, and that was deflected. And it'll just be a throw-in, says the center ref. That was a tough one to call in the air like that. Lane chips it with the left foot, and that'll force the keeper off her line as Abby Helm wisely comes out and scoops it up. Another one tried to feed through. Couldn't quite get on the other end of it, Ajiri. Baron Ness with a very impressive freshman campaign. 11 goals, 4 assists, 26 points on 48 shots. She was also the primary taker on the corner kicks, inserting 52 of them for Carson-Newman entering play here today. Her and Julianne Harity have been busy, but just trying to find the right combination. Told you earlier about the lopsided numbers for Anderson in second halves this season, outscoring opponents 34-10. And they've also outscored opponents 2-0 in overtimes. So a combined 36-10 in goals after halftime for Anderson. But Carson-Newman, ever since that loss to Anderson back on October 3rd, has rattled off 9 straight wins. Intercepted by Ness. Maren Ness has 2 options on either side. She'll keep it herself down the middle for a moment and then too long as she tried to get it to McWilliams. The freshman leading the charge there and had 2 of her top goal-scoring options. SAC player the Harity to her left and McWilliams to the right. And she just held it for probably an extra touch. Anderson throwing out of their own defensive zone. Poveda, fancy footwork. Both of Anderson's goals in the regular season match came in the second half. They had come from behind 2-1 victory. Frazier drifting. Brandon had it kick away from her, but still got enough of it to force a 50 ball over to her teammate Haida Ragney. McWilliams now. Side judge says this is onside. And a leaping play. Abby Helm pulls it in. Carson-Newman starting to circle now. I'm not sure that Brandon would have been able to reach that one as a pretty tall insert. But not taking any chances, Abby Helm blocks off that cross. Najiri can't play that one, so Nora Logan the last to touch it as it goes out. Poveda. Good combo passing, and then the shot from Foster was well high and away, but good creation that time from the Trojans as they're able to string a few passes together and work into some space. Riggs. Headed back on a good effort by Abby Mills. Now McWilliams gets it back on a nice return from Ness. Now Harity tried to step to it. Intercepted now, and watch out the other way. The return ball blocked off. A sliding defensive play in an important spot. And now Ness again. Overran the ball but recovers. Slid it to McWilliams. Her centering pass just finds the waiting boot, number 21 in black, Emily Kawan. Taken away. A dangerous spot. Ragney. Back for McWilliams. And her little stutter step does get a clear, and a throw in for the Eagles. Insert blocked. Just over an hour gone by here tonight. Both Scottish head coaches hoping their teams can come through. Ness sidesteps. That was deflected and turned out to be blocked as it just deadened right on the turf. Good step from Avery Williams. She's all by herself. McWilliams, dangerous turnover. Ajiri trying to cross diagonally, but was run off. Brandon with a nice quick pass, getting Ness running. Now things opening up a little bit. McWilliams will join as they flip fields. That cross skips. It bounces right to Ness, who has the one-timer. Riggs, very calmly, just put the left toe on it. Yaron Chiquer and Richard Moody, told you both Scottish managers of their respective teams, and their hometowns are just about 19 miles apart. And here separated by about 19 yards. With that mid-stripe and dead even on the scoreboard. Ness trying to change that. Good step again by Williams. Has she been strong or what from that center back roll? Ragney. Again Ness. This time she goes small. Harity taking off her foot. It's Tara Dolan. Collision at midfield, and they do award a foul, but it's on Carson-Newman. Harity shaking her head. Yeah, she didn't do anything. She was just kind of standing there. Looked like Dolan was the one who got the arm up, maybe if there was anything more than incidental contact. Very nearly intercepted Abby Mills, maybe a fraction of a second late. Benton. Now Harity again. Ness, one-timer beautifully to Harity. Slides it to the middle for Benton. Into the box she goes. And a trio of Trojan defenders there to wall her off. Aguirre. Mills lobs it back over the top. Aguirre for the one-timer in behind. Freicher dives and just gets a piece. Pretty good look. And the first team all-conference forward. How about the return pass here? On one touch, Abby Mills. And then Aguirre on a half volley off the return, and Freicher just getting a piece of it, and looked like it had eyes for goal had it not been redirected. So Poveda will insert the corner. She rolls it. The return pass not strong, but Poveda still able to chip it to the back post for a header. Freicher dives and gets another hand on it. The freshman again. Another good setup. But Freicher, and that one may have been going wide anyway, but it was close, and Freicher had to make a play on it. Here you go. All alone, acres of space. And yeah, that probably was going into the side netting, but Freicher couldn't take any chances. Another insert from the other side. This popped straight in the air. Benton will turn and swing it clear. Foster blocked.
Go to it.
Move to it.
Now here's Brandon. She'll let Lane build it up through Baron Ness. Williams for Lane again. Is this set to turn up field? Anderson intercepts.
Not pressure.
We're scoreless here as we drip under 22 minutes left to play in the second half. Fifth-seeded Anderson Trojans and top-seeded Carson-Newman Eagles. And the Eagles, how about them as a top seed this year after going 1-10 in the conference in 2014? Almost an afterthought in the preseason voting, but they certainly turned some heads. They had a couple of really key early wins. They beat Lenore Ryan 3-2 to open up SAC play. Beat Mars Hill 6-1. And of course beat Wingate, Brevard, Tusculum, Coker to end the year in the SAC schedule, and completely flip it from a 1-10 finish a year ago to 10-1 this year. Yeah, I think Richard Moody can be Coach of the Year. Riggs. Lane trying to force it forward. That was blocked off. Try to put it in perspective. Last year, Carson-Newman had 18 goals as a team. This year, they've got the Conference Player of the Year. Julianne Harity has 14 by herself. And Varen Ness following closely behind with her 11. They have 25 of the team's 49 goals this year. Nearly 3 times they're put out from a year ago, so certainly have reworked some things. And hearing Richard Moody after the season last year and even before this season, he was fairly confident in his team's ability, even during that tough stretch at the end of the year. They finished 3-14 overall, started 2-3, and then a tough run to end the year. And this year they've been on an absolute tear. Lane sets up Talbot Smith. She tried to go one-on-one. Harity plays it for Benton, who lets it go from outside. And wisely, Abby Helm will just watch it clear wide of the bar as we dip under 19 minutes left in regulation. Anderson will make a substitution. Good turn from Kubiak. Gets past Lane, gets tripped up from behind, and that's going to be a foul. Pretty obvious one there. Doesn't look like there'll be anything further to it. She had defensive help, but Lane didn't want to take the chance and went straight through the backside. So Mariana Poveda, a 3-player wall standing in her way. Poveda chips it high. The turning clear attempt failed, but Benton comes back and helps out. Riggs keeps it for Anderson. Beautiful pass in for Ajiri, and she's walled off and then crunched by Farady, who comes diving out to try to pry it away. Farady down and in some pain, and the referee has blown it dead with Anderson having possession in the attacking third. Of course, the keeper down and in need of some assistance. She's back up, and the freshman appears to be shaking it off. Still shaking that right arm. She went low, and then there was a feet that got clipped. And here's the play at the end to the left. I think it happened after it went out of our camera's view. It was the second effort when it was clipped away from her.
Go Eagles! Go Eagles!
Back, get it back! Come on, Hallie, what it?
Talbot
What it,
Smith.
Hallie?
It'll stay with Carson-Newman. Alyssa Lane trying to get it through to Varen Ness. It was intercepted.
Nice, Helen!
The Carson-Newman back on it. Harity puts the head down, trying to wreak havoc. And she did get through and touch it, but rolls across the back line. So it'll just be a goal kick. 16 minutes remaining in regulation. Longmore. Good defensive play from Ragney. Riggs. Johannes for Riggs. Good long ball. Skipping through for Ajiri. She's at the top of the box with possession. But a great stop one-on-one. Another really nice ball from the back line on this Anderson side, setting up a forward in at least parallel to the Carson-Newman defense, but again, the center backs for Carson-Newman tonight have been really good when they've had to be. Ajiri, one of the toughest players in the conference to stop. And she has been about as neutralized as you can get. Alex Brandon comes back in. She'll trade spots with Lane. Under a quarter hour remaining in regulation. Last time these two teams faced off in the conference tournament, it took penalty kicks to decide. Both semifinals on the men's side of things today went to penalty kicks. Have to look through some pretty lengthy records, but try to find last time 3 straight matches in a tournament went to overtime. Both these teams trying to avoid that fate and get the go-ahead goal here late in regulation. Ajiri stopped. Paveda spinning, gets it back, and she takes a kick to the knee for her efforts. This one splits the middle. And Frazier there, good to see she's all right. She's still shaking that right arm though. After taking a tumble. And that's next matchup with Queens and Wingate getting loose on the practice field. Over on Brannon Field behind us, we're here at Carlisle Field, the main stage. Manchester Meadows and Rock Hill, South Carolina. Scheduled 7:30 start for our 4th and final semifinal for you today. But it's required for 15 minutes of warm-up. Plus, between these two matches, there will be the Women's Soccer Awards presented by Patrick Britz and the South Atlantic Conference Commissioner's Office. So those of you hoping to stay with us for that 4th and final match of the day, stay tuned for updates on the actual start time when each of the first 2 matches of the day go to PKs. Very tough to stay on schedule. Actually near impossible. Both the men's finals, or semifinals that went to penalties there were very different storylines of how they got there. The Queens Royals men's team jumped out to a 3-goal lead in the first 25 minutes of the first half. Carson-Newman, led by Tom Reed's 3 assists, climb all the way back to tie it at 3 late in the second half. Forced overtime, 2 scoreless periods, Carson-Newman in the regular first to 5 was 1 away from securing their spot in the finals, but a miss hit off the crossbar kept penalty kicks alive, and it would wind up going 5-4 in favor of the Royals. And then the second match, Wingate LMU, 2 really strong defensive efforts. It was scoreless all the way to penalties, where Wingate pulled out a 3-1 victory. Pablo Yara making the pair of saves, the SAC Freshman of the Year, really ringing true to his title, as he was massive to get the Bulldogs on the other end of the finals on Sunday. Both these two teams trying to punch their ticket to the final as Harity sets up shop. And that'll be a corner as she's able to get the deflection. 10 minutes left. The Eagles will set forward for a set piece. Varen Ness will insert. Told you she's been the primary corner taker for Carson-Newman here this year. Lofts it to the back post. Harity's got it! Julianne Harity solves the Trojan defense, and the Eagles lead 1-0. Harity's in some pain. She took a collision up around the head. And obviously some concerned looks as they're going to wave out the medical staff, but it was Harity who got on the other end of Varen Ness's insert to put the Eagles up 1-0. See if we can get a look. I'm told we do have an angle on it. We'll show you in just a moment. As she leaned her head in there and was able to pick it out and head it straight down and through. And it was a beautiful finish on a great insert, but obviously the more pressing matter is the tending to Julianne Harity. Looks like they got some cotton swabs dealing with some bleeding down there. Here we see oh, look at that. As she came through, Riggs had her left foot up. And on the follow through after deflecting the ball, got all cleat right to the neck and head area. So certainly hope she's all right. We got the wide angle view of it in slow motion here. Riggs' foot already out, and straight across the jaw ear line as it comes through, and she's going forward is Harity. And of course everyone's celebrating the goal. No one, I don't think, realized that she had been kicked and in some pain. But with 9:36 left to go in the second half, Julianne Harity, the SAC Player of the Year on the assist from the SAC Freshman of the Year, have Carson-Newman up 1-0. Harity getting a round of applause from the Eagle supporters and those in the stands watching on. As Harity helped off to the sideline. Let's give you a look again. First of all, a beautiful insert. Harity able to find space. And there was really nobody marking Harity. They were surrounding her, but she was still, and you're talking about the SAC Player of the Year who just scored her 15th goal of the season. You would think she would be at least zonally marked, but she had plenty of room to operate. You see the campfire around her as she finishes. And now she'll be tended to on the sideline, of course. A ton of the Eagles bench players looking more towards their leading goal scorer on the bench than they are on the field right now. With a 1-0 lead, under 10 to play. Remember, it was the final 2 minutes, or final 10 minutes rather, they scored 2 goals, did Anderson, in the quarterfinals. Adora Giri scoring both of those in the 81st and 84th minutes. So she'll look to ramp it up again and try to get that equalizer. Turn attempt from Melissa Angle was blocked. As this drifts into the corner and rolls across the touchline, it'll go for a goal kick, and obviously now as we coming up on 8 minutes left in the second half, Carson-Newman in no particular hurry. Here's Ajiri stepping inside, but just tripped off the ball by Brandon. And now Varaness rambling through midfield. Lays it up for Talbot Smith. Tried to give and go with McWilliams. The clear blocked by a fellow Trojan. Now Ness headed to Talbot Smith. Pride free, it'll be a Carson-Newman throw. Anderson was pretty sure they had possession, but it will instead be Carson-Newman, so the initial sub they were going to let on, there's a Trojan player waiting to enter the field. She can't come on because the throw-in is coming by the Eagles, not the Trojans. And then the foul called as Holly Talbot Smith was trying to force the issue. And the freshman English woman draws the foul, which allows Avery Williams to come all the way up. Precious seconds melting away for Anderson as the top-seeded Eagles with a late goal. Trying to add to it, Williams.
Yeah.
A little bit too much curl at the end. Allows for the goal kick, and now the substitutions can come on for Anderson, who you'd imagine will be going with more offensive-minded players in this moment. Popped forward. Mills lost it. Little stutter step allows Riggs to take that back for Anderson. As she tries to play it up the touchline. It was apparently deflected. Didn't look that way from where we sit, but and the center ref will tell them to back up and throw it in a little bit closer to midfield. Riggs to Mills. Nice control down now, chipped over the top, but Frazier will just watch that. Skip back to the fencing. And under 5 minutes to go now, a goal kick coming for the top-seeded Eagles. And right now, if you're on the Carson-Newman side, that clock could not be moving any slower. And the exact opposite for Trojan supporters. As the throw in, still free. And that runs across for the goal kick eventually. There have only been 3 teams combined in the South Atlantic Conference Tournament Final since 2010. Wingate, LR, and LMU.
Come on, Eagles.
This guarantees there will be someone new in the tournament finals on Sunday. Will it be the Bulldogs for a 6th straight time, or will it be a brand new final? We'll find out next on the SAC Digital Network. Carson-Newman trying to get back to the SAC Tournament Finals for the first time since 2009, when they beat LR on their way to a deep run in the NCAA tournament. Heavy shove in the back there as we go under 3 minutes left. Benton draws the foul. And now Williams into the corner, but that runs out of room. And Anderson will have another chance to try to even things up. Every second counts on the men's side in the quarterfinals earlier this week. LMU scored with 1.1 seconds remaining to tie LR and forced penalty kicks where the Rail Splitters earned the right to come to Rock Hill. They fell earlier today to Wingate, but Anderson, who is known for scoring late, still has just under 2 minutes left. Another one just popped over the top. Helm. Carson-Newman just controlling in the midfield nest there. 90 seconds left. Lane tried to further it along. Logan slides and knocks it out. It'll be Anderson's throw. But again, strong help from the midfield for Carson-Newman. Forces it backwards. Desperation time now for Anderson with 1 minute left. Pass blocked off, second chance. Chipped over the top, Frazier. That gets on her quicker than she thought it would, but she controls. McWilliams gets the deflection. Carson-Newman will get the throw as the Eagles supporters rise in the stands, sensing the Lady Eagles are returning to the South Atlantic Conference Tournament Finals for the first time since 2009. As the final countdown begins, the ball runs out of play, and the Eagles on Sunday will be back in the finals. Julianne Harity, South Atlantic Conference Player of the Year, gets the game-winning goal on the delivery from the freshman of the year, Varen Ness, and the Eagles outlast the Anderson Trojans with a 1-0 victory in regulation. So one half of the women's final is set. It's the top-seeded Carson-Newman Eagles. They'll find out their opponent next, but for now they celebrate their chance to get back into the tournament. Carson-Newman 1, Anderson nothing. Julianne Harity took some punishment for it, but she was in the right spot, and Varen Ness set it up from the corner kick with 10 minutes left. Harity 1, Anderson nothing. Eagles on to the finals for Ryan Brown and our whole great crew. This is Jake Levy saying so long from Manchester Meadows in Rock Hill, South Carolina.